I'm not sure if you can hear the air conditioner go off in the background. It's just super hot today, and I don't think I'll survive without the air conditioner. So please bear with me for this video, just for this video. Okay, let's go. Hey, do you want a free and beautiful cover for your book? I sound like I'm trying to scam people, don't I? Yeah, I do. Okay, seriously though. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. My channel is a space where I share my writing process. I also talk about my experience on different writing platforms and everything related to the form of art that is writing fiction. But today I want to discuss something that isn't writing per se, another form of art, one that isn't equally as important to a writer as their writing skills, but does play a certain part into the shaping of your readership base. Yes, because unless people already know who you are as an author, or if you have the budget to market your book in different ways, then your book cover is essentially the first thing that a potential reader will see of your work. A book cover can communicate an idea, a feeling, or a mix of feelings to someone. It can either attract them, repulse them, or leave them indifferent. So you should want a cover that will do your story or book justice. In fact, it doesn't matter what you're trying to sell. You should want a packaging design that will present your product under good lights, especially if said product took a lot of time and effort to make. Now, the first thing I am going to suggest is to work with an artist to make a suitable cover. But of course, I don't expect everyone to be able to afford one, even though I am well aware that there's a plethora of amazingly talented artists from all around the world that offer their work at very reasonable prices, and sometimes even doing so at criminally cheap rates, considering the results they produce. But again, that doesn't mean that everyone can afford to hire an artist still. This is the reason I'm making this video in the first place. My primary goal with this video is to basically share very cool websites where to find fantastic, royalty-free images for you to use in the making of your cover, as well as suggest softwares or websites you can use to edit the images for that. As I said before, your book cover is a great way to communicate an idea or a feeling to a potential reader, so might as well make the most of it. When I'm walking around in a bookstore or scrolling on an online bookstore or serial fiction website, a cover is usually the first thing that jumps to my eyes before I stop to read the title. I generally take a moment to look at the cover before deciding if I even want to read the blurb or not. So the first thing your cover has to do is to catch the eye, to turn heads towards your book, to bring attention. You get the point. Now for the second thing, say the cover caught a pair of eyes. Did it do so for the right or for the wrong reasons? People should stop in front of your book, curious to know more about the story inside, and not because what's on the cover is so egregious or awful that they had to stop to just look at it before moving on. So you want the idea that the cover communicates to people to be in accord with or representative of the story in the book itself. Or perhaps there's something, a piece of the story that you want to communicate through the cover. The cover could tell you the genre, the tone, and perhaps even the target audience. Let's take Neil Gaiman's Coraline as an example. The book was adapted in 2009 into a stop-motion animated film. I heard a lot of people say that they were taken by surprise after watching it, that it wasn't a kids' movie and all of that. I watched it at the age of 15 and I agree. While it's not the most horrific thing that a child can see, it's not really for kids nonetheless. However, when I compare the cover art for the movie and the cover of the book that was published in 2002, I can see why. I don't know what feeling this cover is communicating to you, but to me, this cover announces that this is going to be a story of the creepy kind. The kind that I wouldn't really pick for a child. Not one that is under 13 at least. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? Whatever art style you choose for your book, it should stay true to its content, the message you want to get across, and the audience you want to attract. With all that being said, let's get into the thick of it, shall we? In order to make a decent book cover, we need an inspiration source images to work with. The best way to get these is to go on royalty-free image websites or stock image websites. Now here are some of the websites that I personally use to get my images. It is worthy to note that each website has copyright rules and conditions of their own. Some images on the websites have their own copyright rules, so make sure to always seek those before using any of the pictures on them. But usually the bottom line is that you're not allowed to sell or redistribute the stock images without making drastic changes to them. Sometimes they do demand credit for the images when used, but other times they don't. Let's take a look at the first website on our list. Canva. I'm fairly confident that Canva is a website that is known by a lot of people. It's very popular and you can use it for multiple purposes. But for us today, we just need to see the stock photo feature it has. So we type Canva, royalty-free images on Google or Bing or whatever you use. It should take us straight where we need to be. We click here and it will ask us to log in or register. You can do that with your Google account. It's easier. This is what we see, and we immediately take to the search bar here. For example, I want crystal balls. We click on the element section. Note here this little crown at the bottom corner. This means that it is a premium image, and the only way to use it would be to pay for it. So if you want the images for free, steer clear of these ones. Now, I want this image, for example. I just click on it like so. Here we can name the project or the folder or whatever. Now say I want more images. I just click here for a new image and we click on the image we want. It appears here like this. See? And then we download all of them at once. Let us move on to number 2 on the list, Pixabay. Now this one is my favorite site because it is just super easy to use and the variety of choices available pretty large. You just go to the search bar and select what type of media you want. Then you type what you actually want. Steer clear of the first line here. These images aren't really free, as you can see. After that, it is an all-you-can-eat buffet. Note that sometimes they do ask you to log in order to download the images. That depends on the quality you want. If you want the highest quality, they do ask you to log in, which again is super easy because you don't have to create an account and all. You can just use your Google account. One more thing, as you can see, they even offer you the option to edit it through Canva. Remember the multiple purposes of Canva I mentioned before? One of them is that Canva offers editing options. Third website on the list is Pexels. This one is kind of similar to Pixabay. You select either you want a photo or a video and you go from there. On multiple occasions, you'll note that there are images that have being cross-posted on multiple stock photo websites. It's perfectly understandable for photographers that want extra exposure on their work to cross-post on multiple platforms, considering they're offering them for free. Next up, morph a file. Same story. You just type in what you want and pick the media of your choosing. Number 5, we got Unsplash. There are definitely more websites out there. Genuinely, all you have to do is to type free stock image websites on Google, whatever browser you use, and pick whichever one suits your needs. However, as I mentioned before, make sure to read their copyright clause to avoid any potential problems in the future. For example, here on Unsplash, you just click here and then license. It'll take you there. Okie dokie. Now that we got the websites out of the way, we can talk about editing programs. I personally design my own book covers, and for that I use Photoshop. I'm not really great at drawing, but I am okay at photo manipulation, and I did record the design process of one of my covers, as you can see it on the screen. These are the images I used for it. And here is the final result. But Photoshop is not free to use. I heard that a good alternative to Photoshop will be GIMP. It does have a high learning curve from what I heard, but I think the results you can achieve with it are worth the time you invest into learning to use it. Paint.net. This one only runs on Windows system, I believe, but I'm not sure. You can check on the website. Again, I'm compiling this list to help guide you find a potential temporary solution to making your own covers. I also heard this software can appear to be pretty complex at first, but as I said before, the results might be worth the time you put into getting acquainted with it. I believe this one is more geared towards digital painting, but has a lot more to it, definitely. Krita is definitely one I heard a lot about. One that can be a bit overwhelming at first, but again, very much worth the time. Now, if you don't want to download a software or program, there are definitely browser-based web apps for photo editing as well, of course. The one that I can think of at the top of my head is Photopea, because the interface it has resembles that of Photoshop and even offers the option to save files as PSDs. But Photopea isn't a software, as I said before. You cannot install it on your device. Just like the free stock photo websites, you can definitely find multiple lists of free image editing software by Googling them or, well, whatever browser you use. Alrighty then, I do hope I was able to help, if even by a bit. Do let me know if you have any questions. In the next video, I think I will be sharing my book cover making process. So I'll be browsing for images and actually making the cover for one of my books. You might be interested in that. Alright. I think this is going to be it for this video. I do hope you at least enjoyed watching it. I also hope to see you again in the next one. And until then, please take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye-bye.